Hey everyone, Matt here. It is Wednesday. That is the main event time where we go over our main topics for the week. So if you're watching or listening, this is the meat and potatoes of the episode. If we happen to have any news to discuss as well, that's where we'll talk about it here. For the full episode, check us out on Saturdays. Thanks for watching and listening. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt Clausen from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined this week by RJ from Do You Take Cards. RJ, how are you this evening?
I am doing well despite the Packers going down to Brazil and losing and Jordan Love getting a little banged up, but not as banged up as I thought he was going to be after it happened. So I guess I'm all right. There you go.
Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt Clausen from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined this week by RJ from Do You Take Cards. RJ, how are you this evening?
I am doing well despite the Packers going down to Brazil and losing and Jordan Love getting a little banged up, but not as banged up as I thought he was going to be after it happened. So I guess I'm all right.
You and Tom Grossi took that news a little bit better than most people. So there you go. Also joined by a man who refuses to start a YouTube channel, even though all we ask is for 5 words. Tariq, how are you today?
I'm good. Saturday was the absolute worst day of my life. Don't want to talk about it much, but every other day of the weekend was cool because I won both of my week 1 games for fantasy. So I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
It's a game. Yeah.
Yes.
He's
Fantasy
talking
football.
about football, guys. He's not talking about like his girlfriend didn't break up with him. He's not homeless. Like it is a football game.
It was my university losing to our rivals for the first time in like the 12 years we played them, and we got the crap kicked out of us, and it was awful. But on the bright side, I got a new card, the Hyatt business card, because I just wanted more Hyatt points, despite everyone saying that the card sucks. And I'm like, I'll just do the smash and grab, get my 75,000 points, and then leave. So that's coming up.
It's a card I wish had been updated a little bit differently. And hey, I mean, in 12 years going 11-1, I know certain football teams that would love to go 11-1 against their rivals over a 12-year period. Then again, I'm a former NFL fan, so these things happen. All right, so we are not joined this week by Lani. Lani is on vacation, but we will have some housekeeping at the end of the episode just to kind of cover when that will be happening over the rest of the year. All right, let's jump into the news and topics. Real quick on news, US Bank has a new card launch that they are launching. This is the US Bank Smartly card. It'll be a 2% earning cashback card. No annual fee on the card, as reported by CNBC this weekend. Also, no welcome offer on the card. But the card will have a superpower of if you put $100,000 in various US Bank accounts, it will become a 4 times cash earning card on all categories. You guys have any thoughts on this card to start?
I don't have $100,000 to put on it, but if I did have $100,000 to put on it and wanted cash back, this would be a really strong option. The only other company that does anything really like this is Bank of America. And I think competition in the market is really important, and Bank of America having at least another direct competitor, I think is good for the credit card space. So I'm game for it, even though it's not for me.
Forget to mention that if you put $5,000 to $49,999, it becomes a 2.5x everything card. And between $50,000 and $99,999, it becomes a 3 times everything card. So you do have some reward levels there as well.
It's kind of doubling up on what RJ said. Bank of America has just been kind of sitting in their area, their corner, just quiet with their preferred rewards and nobody challenging it. So US Bank coming to challenging it competition is good for us. And who knows how successful this Smartly card will end up being. It'll make Bank of America take a look and see if they need to reevaluate their credit card lineup or their preferred reward system. And who knows, maybe Bank of America will go in and try to shake the room and get in the transfer portal game or transfer partners. So you never know what'll happen. So I'm going to root for US Bank to do well with this.
I could also see like Chase doing something like this if it went well for US Bank because they have the JP Morgan stuff. Um, maybe Schwab and Amex cook up something. Um, but there's a lot of companies that handle people's long-term money that aren't handling sort of their checking savings stuff that if they can do that could really be an interesting play, especially if you're a cashback fan, probably less if you're into points and miles. But I think that cashback could use sort of a renaissance, even though it's not for me. I think a lot of people who are in points and miles probably should be in cashback, and this could incentivize them to go that direction, which might be beneficial for them long term.
Funny that you mentioned Chase on that. I mean, we haven't heard much with the Emerald trademark with that and their private client. So yeah, that could be a perfect segue into potentially doing something with preferred rewards in the Emerald card, being something similar to the Smartly card, if it is just like a cashback that, I mean, you never know with Chase. Cashback can still be a UR earning card that could still kind of shake both cashback and the travel side. So we'll see what happens. Go US Bank.
Yeah, plenty of questions still remain. Is this just going to be limited to just the Smartly card? Is this going to expand to their other cards? Like, does this bonus extend to the Cash Plus card? Does this extend to the US Bank Altitude Go? Does this extend to the US Bank Altitude Reserve? Does this extend to the Altitude Connect? Like, how does that work? Are they going to be a unified point system? Lots are left to be answered there, because if you were able to do something like hold $100,000 across, IRA, retirement, whatever, and get 6 times a wallet on the Altitude Reserve, that would be insane. And then you could redeem it at 1.5 cent per point, which would give you a 9 times return using RTR, real time rewards. I don't think it's going to get to that level, because that level would be severe breakage. But if they're going to create like their own Smartly brand of cards, where the Smartly Cash is your catch-all card, and then they do another card that does the same thing, but it's all one brand, that could also be a seriously interesting move. So I'm curious to see what US Bank does here, but we'll have to find out later, because all we know is 2% card, their premium rewards bonus, and no annual fee. So let's jump over to topics, and Tariq, your topic of the week.
Okay, so I mentioned in the intro of the podcast that I opened up a new card, that being the World of Hyatt business card. And it had me thinking, because at the beginning of the year, I did what a good amount of people in the credit card community do. I had a roadmap with like the certain cards I was going to get. And since getting into finding the venture capital Discord and then doing the podcast and even, the Stack Your Points podcast Discord, my roadmap has changed and made adjustments. And I didn't even expect to get this World of Hyatt business card. I didn't even think I wanted it. I got the IHG Premier Business card earlier than I expected. I thought I was going to go for the ink cash. I didn't think I was going to get the ink cards. So my roadmap in just the span of 8 months has completely altered. So the question is, are roadmaps worth it? I still think it's worth it for me to have a roadmap, because it still gives me an idea of like what cards I want in the future. But I wanted to go around and see if y'all have roadmaps, and if y'all do, have y'all made any adjustments, or do you even have a desire to make adjustments to these roadmaps? So, RJ, I think we've shared and gone off pre-recording and even just in the Discord talking about roadmaps. So I want to see what you think on this.
So I think a roadmap needs to be a living document, because if you say, tomorrow Amex said, you can get 200,000 Hilton points for the Hilton business card. That's going to change my roadmap, right? Or the Marriott business goes to, instead of 3 free night certificates, it goes to, 150,000 points, something like that, right? That is going to change some things for me, right? Like those are both cards that I'm thinking of getting, but I don't want to get them as they currently are because I have perhaps one slot left for an actual credit card for a few more months with Amex, right? So I think it needs to be a living document. I do think reflection is really important in terms of what do I have? What are my goals? Where do I want to go? And I think a roadmap is nice to sort of bring that to the forefront of what do you actually want? Put it on paper, put it on a document, and sort of reflect on that, right? Like I have a couple of versions of a roadmap depending on sort of my mood that day, but also like what is the credit card landscape? What are welcome offers? If we hear tomorrow that, the Brilliant might get a refresh and add X, Y, or Z, then that may change where it would be in my, system. If, people who care a lot about 524, like if a card comes up that has an amazing welcome offer that you probably won't see again, that may be worth going over 524 for, even up to a year, simply to get a card that could give you a lot of long-term value, right? So there's a lot of reasons a roadmap can be important. Um, I think the problem is when people stick to it regardless of anything else, that can become a problem because you're missing out on the dynamic nature of the credit card market. If you're like, I want to apply for, and I'm using Hilton and Marriott because they're the cards that I'm sort of interested in at the moment. If I want to get the bevy in June of 25, and the bevy comes out with a high welcome offer that ends in May of 25, it may be a good idea to apply for the higher welcome offer if it's something where you can afford to spend. Sometimes so you can't be too beholden to the roadmap. And I don't think you can do a 5-year roadmap. I think with the way credit cards move, probably 18 to 24 months is about the max you could realistically do with how things move. But I think they're a good tool. And I think even if you make a roadmap and don't stick with it, and like I said, I treat it as a living document, so I update it as needed, it will at least make you aware of where you're going. Tariq, you've gotten a lot of cards. You haven't necessarily had time yet to let them live in your life of, oh, this is just a sock drawer card. Cool. I can put it in my sock drawer. But there are other cards you have that may not be sock drawers that you can use in certain places that you don't even realize yet because you haven't had time to burn those in. So I think a roadmap can help somebody who is conflicted about what they're doing or who have gotten a bunch of new cards and don't know how they fit in. So using a roadmap to see where those gaps are, I think could be a really nice step in your credit card journey.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially making sure that your roadmap isn't rigid. Because when I first did it, like my first rough draft of a roadmap, mine was rigid. This was before I even thought about entertaining business cards. Like I still remember, I think my initial rough draft, I was going to go Freedom Flex in February, Sapphire Preferred in May, and then I was going to work on the sign up bonus with like, I want to say I should have gotten the Freedom Unlimited. That should have been my next card. So, and then probably like the Southwest priority or something. So yeah, I've made some adjustments to my roadmap. And yeah, like I said, with the whole having a bunch of cards that I just opened and don't know. I have an idea. The only exception is that Hyatt business card, just because I was just trying to grab those 75 to potentially like 87,000 Hyatt points. But the Ink Unlimited probably won't get the Freedom Unlimited just because I like it being a 1.5 catch-all, and I already have dining in drugstores with the Freedom Flex. IHG Premier business, it works with my secondary strategy, and it actually gives me a card that I can earn on gas. So I don't have to worry about getting the ink cash for the time being. It's just, I may just have to earn 5x IHG points, but at least it's a card that I can use for gas. So yeah, it helps having a dynamic roadmap, because if it's rigid, it's gonna break, and it's probably gonna mess you up because you're gonna miss out on some once in a lifetime offers or some big offers. Matt, with you and roadmaps, where do you stand? Do you have one? Do you care? What's your take?
So at the beginning of the year, I kind of chimed in that I didn't have a specific roadmap. There were cards that were listed to come out that I was interested in. I wanted to evaluate what was going to happen before I jumped in with any particular card. There's still like one outstanding card where it's, is it coming out, when it comes out, what's it going to look like, that sort of thing. So that's the Beyond card from Wells Fargo. But there was Signify Business. I wanted to give myself the ability to get that card when it launched, if it was going to be a card I could get. It launched, I applied, I got it. Then there are cards that show up out of nowhere that can fit a use case for me, and I can definitely grab, where like the Wells Fargo Attune was that card, and the American Express Blue Business Plus became that card. So I don't have a set roadmap. I want to keep opportunity open. I'm keeping chase scarcity in mind, but it's not something that I wed myself to at all times. So if I go over, I go over. If I'm under, I'm under. But if there are cards that are interesting to me, I want to be able to go and grab them. So I try to keep things sort of loose. I don't have a set roadmap. I'm not sitting there with a spreadsheet. I'm not like going through. I've tried to do the spreadsheet. Spencer Johnson has one that's really pretty helpful for folks. I just haven't sat down and done one. I know where I am with Chase scarcity. I know there aren't any personal cards from Chase that are calling for me to go get them right now, so that it's not a big thing of mind. I know that I can turn a card into a Freedom Unlimited if I have to, but I'll probably apply for another Ink Unlimited if it becomes a possibility for me. Right now, it's not. I'm working 2 welcome offers. The Ink Cash is solid enough. Blue Business Plus, I have a great credit limit on that, and a welcome offer that I should be able to hit with some ease, depending on a couple of factors. So I don't have a set roadmap, but I do want to at least have an idea of what cards I want to get should the opportunity arise. So if it's another ink, it's another ink. If it's the possibility of another Blue Business Plus down the line, maybe another Blue Business Plus, depending on what sort of offers I might be able to get. So I don't wed myself to a roadmap. I'm not going to say, oh, well, I'm going to get this card, and 6 months later, I'm going to get this other card, because in those 6 months, things could change drastically. Like, I want to keep options open. If there's a new card that comes out that sounds really interesting, like the Smartly card wasn't on anyone's radar, but now that could be a really cool 4% back card if you can make the finances on that card work for you. There's going to be a whole lot of hoops for folks to jump through, but if it's a card that you can turn into a 4% everything card, there are going to be people who do that. So cards come out that can completely upend your roadmap. So having an idea of what cards you want to get is good, but wedding yourself to, in April I get this card, in July I get this card, in November I get this other card. It's nice in theory, but in practice, something else could always jump up. So I would rather be flexible with it.
I wonder, like, for me, a roadmap is not simply about acquisition, it's about transaction. So I'm in the Amex ecosystem. There are ways to do upgrade, downgrade with different cards. There are ways to product change. My Delta Blue will become a Delta Reserve. It will get its big boy pants. So those are things that I would put on my roadmap as well. Like it's not simply an acquisition tool. It is a what do I want to do? Because that way, I have when I want to upgrade that Delta Blue card, partly so I don't forget, right? Like partly so I
Right.
don't like try to do something early or late or what have you. So I think maybe think of it as a to-do list of credit cards versus a roadmap in that way, or maybe that's how I'm using it. But I do think putting more than simply acquisitions on it can be helpful. Like if you have a card you know you're going to close after the first year, like you hit it for a smash and grab sub, listing that out is helpful because that is also something that you need to do on your roadmap to get to other places. So I would
Yeah.
hesitate people to only think about it as an acquisition tool.
Yeah, that's definitely a great thought on that, just because like I think of it as acquisition just because I only have one significant annual fee, and that's not something that I'm considering downgrading or putting on a list to downgrade and maybe play the upgrade game later. So yeah, that's definitely something I didn't keep in mind just because I only pay two annual fees. One is relatively moderate, one is really small, one is $550. So like for me, that's not something that comes to mind. In terms of smash and grab, yeah, maybe canceling an ink to open another ink another time. Reminding myself, hey, cut that limit on the ink unlimited again, move that to the ink cash, have a respectable limit on the ink cash, and then open another ink unlimited when you're ready to, and then close the first one. Might not be the worst idea. So yeah, there's definitely other things to keep in mind. With my current setup, with all the no annual fee cards I have, I don't worry about canceling them, but that is definitely something to keep in mind as a means of having that organization.
Yeah, maybe I was just thinking maybe there's a better term for the credit card roadmap other than a roadmap, so it kind of avoids that perceived rigidity of the acquisition and looking at
Checklist,
maybe planner, but even planner still sounds rigid.
Itinerary, credit
itinerary,
card
yeah.
itinerary. Go
Maybe
with a travel theme.
maybe we'll have to see like in the comments and other our fans what they say in the Discord or even emails. Leave us some ideas what we think, and maybe we can bring it up in the next week's show, because that's something I want to touch up on now, because maybe roadmap is just too rigid.
Yeah, certainly possible. I try to keep as open to mind things, just because again, new cards can spring up that will be an absolute fit for you, or be a card that you are so captivated by that you just have to go grab it for whatever reason. 4% on Amazon springs to mind. Yeah, maybe roadmap's not the right word. Maybe itinerary could work. Planner, something. We'll see. Uh, but enough on that segue. Let's go to RJ, your subject, your topic for the week. Sorry.
So I've been sort of to go to our last topic, I have been road mapping a little bit lately, working on my credit card to-do list, as it were. And there's a couple of cards that if I had the ability to get them, which we've talked about, I'm taking a little break from new cards. Not entirely self-imposed, but a break nonetheless. But there's a couple of cards that if I could pull the trigger on, I might consider it. And I wondered if either of you had something where there's a card you want, there's a card you're looking at, but for whatever reason you can't pull the trigger.
So it's a tough one, because the cards that I want and haven't pulled the trigger on is a matter of timing. So like the biggest one for me right now, and when Lani hears this, he's gonna shake his head in disappointment, is the United Explorer card. And it's solely because I'm looking at all of I just grabbed this Hyatt business card because I was looking at the welcome offer and seeing, okay, let me go ahead and earn a bunch of Hyatt points, because I've burned like almost 200,000 Hyatt points, or almost 200,000 chase points to Hyatt. So that's like the thought process. And I know I'm going to fly United, but I'm not going to fly United yet. I have flights planned, but yeah, I have I think 43 with like another 5,000 on the way, and I could use another 50, 60, 70,000 United miles, whatever the welcome offer may be. But it's just a timing thing. And maybe it's a roadmap thing for me, not necessarily like a rigidity thing, but I know after I finish the welcome offer on the World Hyatt Business, I'm going to be stuck between one of the two. I'm either going to get the personal United Explorer card or I'm going to get the United Business card. So it's just like analysis paralysis. And I'm leaning towards the Explorer because I want to make sure I can get my girlfriend global entry / TSA pre-check because I'm already going to get it with the IHG Premier Business. So probably going to get the United Explorer. But aside from that, I've really considered the Wells Fargo autograph journey. And the biggest reason why I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet is because I'm still waiting on those transfer partners. And this went back to, again, roadmap when they first announced like Wells Fargo having transfer partners and the autograph journey. And I even said, if Wells Fargo hits the nail on the head on these transfer partners, I will forego chase scarcity, grab another 60K Wells Fargo points, and transfer those to, let's say, Hyatt or even United, because I will get significant value out of that. But I can't see myself doing it until they figure it out. Plus, I know Wells Fargo is also doing somewhat of a scarcity rule, so something else to consider.
Interesting. Matt, any cards that you want, but you can't seem to click the submit on the application button?
So there's one card offer I'm waiting to come around again. I'm not sure if it will come around this year, but that would be the 2x unlimited, 2x basically unlimited cashback match on the Chase Sapphire. No, the Chase Freedom Unlimited, not the spend up to 20K offer. That one's pretty strong, but it only comes out to about $300. Whereas the one that they did that was like the Discover model was spend whatever you want and you'll get the match at the end of the year. I'm waiting for that offer to come around again. I have the scarcity spot. I have the willingness to get that card. I have the everything but that offer being presently available. But do I like the Freedom Unlimited as a card? Not necessarily. That would just be a 1 year go ham. Just that becomes my everything but I guess like direct flights with the Sapphire Reserve or something. But that just becomes like the everything card for a year. In terms of other cards, I've thought about, I think about the Marriott co-branded cards from time to time, but that's just because I'd rather pay cash at Marriott and build up a stash of points at Marriott, because that seems to be the only way to go about building a respectable Marriott stash that isn't transferring from Chase when there's a solid transfer bonus. I don't have a particular need for the Surpass yet, so I haven't thought about the Surpass. I have an upgrade offer on the Surpass, but I'm not going to do an upgrade offer when I can get the card. That just doesn't make sense. Now, if I was tapped out and I'd already gotten all of the cards and I'd gotten my lifetime language fulfillment, then I'd go the upgrade route. So that's not necessarily a card that's there. If I'm going to go to US Bank, I'm going to try to just shoot my shot and go for the US Bank Altitude Reserve with no relationship with US Bank whatsoever. But that's just because I'm A little bit cocky, and B, that's how I got my Sapphire Reserve. No relationship with Chase, just got a mailer from them and just went for it. So it's a cool end game card. It's not a card I'm interested in. It's not a card I'm not interested in at the moment, but it's not one that I'm ready to pull the trigger on. But it's definitely a card I will want. And then the rest are just cards that don't exist yet. Like there's the mythical Hyatt higher end card, we don't know what that looks like. I can't say I'm going to get that card when I don't know what that looks like. And then there's Autograph Beyond, which I'm waiting to see what that looks like. But again, that card does not exist. I cannot say I want that card, and I cannot say I've like not hit submit on that card because there's no card to hit submit to. So really, the Freedom Unlimited 2x everything offer, when that comes around again, I'm going to smash apply on that as fast as humanly possible. And then it's just a matter of higher end cards of cards that I already have, and when that makes sense to go for it.
Interesting. Because it doesn't sound like, and I know you're sort of in an interesting place, but it doesn't sound like you actually want. Like there are cards like the Altitude Reserve that I think would be useful for you, but even in that, I don't think you like want them. Like at least Tariq has cards he wants from United, but it's does he want to pay the $600 for the Infinite Global Plus special big United card or not?
Right.
Eventually.
I know you will eventually. One day you and I will like have dinner and compare annual fees and we'll be on the same level, but not quite yet.
Yeah, when that day happens, you'll probably look at me with like the most confused, shocked look and be like, when did this happen? Because I'm not going to tell you when I do it. Or maybe I
Oh
will.
no, you will because you'll be telling us the cards and I'll be adding it up in my head as you tell us about the cards.
You already have a ledger. You have a ledger already, a running ledger on my annual fees because I've probably said one too many things about your annual fees and you want the
Look,
justification.
I pay probably more in annual fees than I need to, though that will change in 2025. It's just a matter of getting to March and April of 25.
Roadmaps.
Yep. Having a lot of no annual fee cards is fun.
But they're not Amex, and I unfortunately have sold my soul.
You want an
I
Amex
have
no annual fee card? Blue Cash every day. Or the cash magnet.
Honestly, the Hilton no annual fee card would be the no annual fee card other than the Blue Business Plus that I would regularly use if I had to use only Amex no annual fee cards.
It's a strong card. The only way to make the membership reward dollar cards interesting to me is if I could exchange 5 membership reward dollars for 4 membership reward points. Then I could get some interesting use out of them.
Oh man, if Amex ever, like, so many of Amex's problems would be fixed if they could pull a Chase and let you just turn your cash back into MR points. Like, because it's not like they have a Hyatt where it's so dependent on them having low, member points to book rooms. Like, they don't really have that problem. So I don't know why they don't do it other than there's spreadsheets that I'm not privy to somewhere that tells them not to. But if I could, my Blue Cash every day would be worked out so hard if I could do online shop and get MR points.
It is a nice card. And yeah, having that card be an MR earning card or just being able to transfer MR points people would talk about that Blue Cash every day more than it already has been talked about.
Yeah, but y'all get the cheat code of Rakuten, where you can use any card that is a online spend card, like the customized cash rewards. You could use for the 3% online spend. Get that cash back. I know that doesn't light that.
I have the Freedom Unlimited with the 3x everything right now. That is my favorite card to use with Rakuten because I got no APR for 15 months. B, I have 3x everything. And C, I get the MR points from it. So I'm looking for that 90% offer on some cloud service that I will never use ever again, but will buy for a year.
Right. Like Rakuten does allow that sort of end run around, unlike some others. So like that portion of things can help. But if you're not using Rakuten for membership reward points and you're not like in the membership reward point ecosystem, there's not a whole lot of other ways to like light that spark. I'm just getting 4% on Amazon, which should make me feel a lot happier than it does, but I'm just like, yeah, but then everybody complains about the card and everybody complains about the issuer. And I'm tired of being the lone guy on the hill being Don Quixote.
Rakuten fans right now, 1Password, 55% cash back. Not a sponsor, but I strongly suggest you use a password manager, and I love 1Password, so 55% off if you get a 1Password.
There you go. Very nice.
55% cash back. Let me in MR points. So let me be clear on that before somebody corrects me in the comments.
Yes. All right, we'll go with my topic to finish out. And my topic is one card in your wallet has to change the issuer. Which one? Where does it go? Does it change features? If so, what? And would it still be worth it to you? It can be a co-branded card or a bank card. So what I would love to do, what I would love to see in this one would be I would take the Wells Fargo Attune, switch it over to Chase, kind of keep everything on it is the same, and have a wide berth of 4x UR point earning capability on a lot of things that Chase already covers, but I get 4 points. So the transit category is on the Attune. So that would be covered by your travel category because the travel category is vastly better than most others. But why not take Brightline for 4 times UR points instead of 3? Why not take your New York City subway for 4 times UR points instead of 3? You'd also get, entertainment. You'd also get Amazon. You'd also get a couple other big retailers. So putting the Attune with Chase would probably be my first answer on this one, or taking the Sapphire Reserve and just switching that over to Wells, just so that Wells can have a big boy pants card would be nice. But the big boy pants card is coming, and it's probably going to be as good as the Sapphire Reserve. We'll see. But the transfer partners are always a lingering issue. So, Tariq, what card in your wallet has to change issuers? Where does it go? And what Chase card are you killing to go to another issuer?
So I have the American Express Blue Cash Everyday card. I love that card as a cashback card, other than the fact that it earns reward dollars. I would just move that to Chase. And since it's a cashback card, it automatically earns UR points, and I get UR points on grocery stores, gas stations, and online shopping. Heck, you can even keep that Disney credit. That'd be even cooler.
Are you keeping the cap on grocery?
Yeah, what was it, $6K a year? That's fine. I'll keep it as it is. Just take the Blue Cash every day, make it some kind of freedom variant, have the cashback earn UR points, and I will shut up about the Sapphire Preferred.
Interesting. Okay. Dang, I should have given you a proviso. Oh well. RJ, what card in your wallet is changing issuers? To who and to where and to why, and how's it an Amex card?
It will be going to an Amex card. It's going to be the Capital One Venture X. Capital One Venture X is going from Capital One to Amex, so I can have the 2x everything on a non-business card. I'll have, the $300 credit for travel. I will get the 10,000 point every anniversary. I'm even fine keeping the $395 for the annual fee for it. I think if you put that card in Amex's ecosystem, it would be fantastic. And it's also a $300 credit you can use once and be done with it versus a monthly credit, which I think people would be very excited about.
Still find a way for Amex to break that into a $25 travel.
We're gonna not.
It's Amex. It's gonna
Look, they don't do it for everything. They also do biannual credits. I would be fine with 2 150 biannual credits. That's fine.
It'll be a 7 It'll be a $75 quarterly travel credit.
Honestly, I would be fine with that. Like quarterly, semi-annually, or annually, I'm fine with. It's the monthly that sometimes can get onerous.
I knew when I put that together, I knew that that was going to be your answer. And I know that while he's not with us currently tonight on tonight's program, I know that Lani would take the Amex Gold and just move that to Chase.
Yeah, he said it on the podcast, so that helps.
Yeah, he has said that
Yeah,
on the podcast.
he
before.
has definitely said that on
I mean,
record.
I did think of moving the Apple Card to Chase, because again, cashback can become points, and I get 3% cash back on all Apple purchases, so that could be very nice. But I think I would use the Venture X. Like that card would get, I mean, the Blue Business Plus gets a lot of spend. That card would get even more spend. And it would get
Yep.
the protections of not being a business card, which one day we're going to have to do as a topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually, because we keep mentioning business cards, but we haven't done the dive yet.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah. We one day. But yeah, the Venture X as an Amex card, I think would be they both got X. You got Amex, you got Venture X. It just works.
Yeah, I can see it. And then they're gonna relaunch the Saber as the Saber X and just throw everything out of whack. But no, that's gonna do it for topics, and that's gonna do it for this episode of Stack Your Points. As always, we are on YouTube and the podcatchers of your choice, so you can find us there. Please give us 5 stars on your podcatcher. Please like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. RJ, if folks wanted to find you on the interwebs, where would they be able to find you?
You can find me in the Stack Your Points Discord. You can find me at Do You Take Cards on YouTube. You can also find me on the global entry card that came in the mail today that is now in my travel wallet with my passport because I now have global entry.
Nice. Tariq, where can we find you on the interwebs since it's not YouTube?
So it's a few places you can find me. You can find me this weekend down in Austin at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium to watch my beloved Roadrunners just get completely annihilated by the number 2 football team in the country. You can find me on the Stack Your Points Discord. You can also find me on the new social medias that we're going to launch for Stack Your Points, including the Instagram. And finally, you could find me on YouTube under the name Reeks Rewards. So yeah, I wanted it to be a full one for Lani, but I think there is enough pressure. My arm has been twisted enough. I have started a YouTube channel. I haven't made the community post yet, but there is a channel. And it did kind of help that Keith found an old one that God only knows how that even happened. But yeah, Reeks Rewards, and that will be linked in the description with all the other ones. But you'll just get one community post.
Crap, I now have to start making YouTube videos again.
Yeah, but knowing what your next YouTube video is, I'm kind of excited about it.
It is pretty awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can post it, which, the world is a better place for it.
You're welcome.
Good. You're still not out of the corner. We will be back next week with another episode of Stack Your Points. We'll have Lani back from his travel, his places unknown, and we'll have some guest hosts starting the week after as Lani will be back out. We are slated to have RJ, I believe it is Key from Kiki's Adventures, as our first guest.
Yes, we are. I'm very excited.
We'll see how that goes, and we should be able to move on from and start adding in some other guests in the event that one of us is unavailable. Apologies for my voice this evening. It's been going in and out. I don't know what's going on there. So, as always, thanks for watching Stack Your Points. See you next week.